Loveridge is in the pocket alongside Australia's top footballer for many years, Lee Matthews. As a rover and forward, Lethal Lee has kicked 771 goals. In the other pocket is Michael McCarthy. Ruckman Ian Payton will be assisted by ruck rover Michael Tuck, with Colin Robertson roving. It will be Tuck's 18th finals match and 254th game for the club. The interchange bench boasts 5 fine players. Beanpole ruckman Michael Byrne is back after injury. West Australian Ken Judge, a first-year player, will also be considered. A sentimental favourite for a berth will be Kelvin Moore, who over nearly 300 games has been one of the game's great full-backs. David Polkinghorne has already played in 2 premiership teams, while young Russell Shields will also come under consideration. West Australian Bill Duckworth, South Australian Paul Weston and Victorian Shane Hurd comprise the Essendon full-back line to cover the likes of Loveridge, Lethal, Lee Matthews and McCarthy. Tough half-back Stephen Carey is alongside one of last week's best players, Kevin Walsh, and the vastly improved Peter Bradbury, who's earned a reputation as a fine tagger. Former Richmond captain and grand final specialist Brian Wood is back after a hamstring injury on one wing, with Mervyn Neagle breathing easily after being let off by the VFL Tribunal in the centre. Gary Folds is on the other wing. Glenn Hawker was best of field last week, and he's been named on a forward flank alongside Roger Merritt, who's been a focal point for the Bombers in all 3 finals. Former Magpie dynamo Rene Kink is on the other flank. Essendon always looks to the aerial brilliance of Paul van der Haar to lift the side, and in flight, he's one of the best marks in the game. Skipper Terry Danaher has battled to overcome a virus, and like van der Haar, will be under intense pressure. Darren Williams has roved in only 10 games, and he'll be in the other pocket. Essendon's ruck division is first-rate, with Simon Madden, fast, tall and a superb mark, backed up by the charismatic youngster Tim Watson and a top rover in Tony Bahagia. Likewise, Essendon have named 5 interchange players. Alan Ezard, who's impressed in his 7 games, Stephen Copping, who starred last week in the Army Reserve Cup match, Cameron Clayton, an interchange last week, rugged Ronnie Andrews back after suspension, and Frank Donnell, a fine finisher.
This morning here in Melbourne, it was very overcast, but the good news is the conditions are now ideal. The sun is shining and we're looking at a top temperature of 16 degrees Celsius. Those white bags you can see around the ground down there at the MCG are full of black and red balloons for Essendon, brown and yellow for Hawthorn, thousands upon thousands of balloons, and they'll be let off just before the game starts. At this point of time, I'll hand you back to Sandy Roberts on the ground of the Melbourne Cricket Ground.
Thank you, Max, for that report from the sky. And as I said, we've got between 100 and 115,000 people packed into the MCG at the moment. They're all waiting for the 40 players to come out on the ground. But what about the 2 umpires? It is a big day indeed for the 2 men chosen for this particular match. The 2 men in white who we tend to throw so much at throughout the season, but it's a great honour for them. Neville Nash and Kevin Smith are the 2 umpires officiating in today's grand final. Stephen Phillips found them.
Well, the umpires for the 1983 grand final are Kevin Smith and Neville Nash. Kevin umpiring his 4th VFL grand final. And Nev, congratulations on getting your first.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks very much.
Great thrill?
Yeah, lovely.
Well, I know in cricket, who's going to take the first ball? Who's going to take the opening bounce?
I will. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Steve. He's told me he's going to take it.
You've been there before. What are the nerves like for the umpires?
Oh, it's the same every time. It doesn't matter how many grand finals you have. I mean, every day's a different day, and I'm just as nervous as I ever was. Although I'm pretty relaxed at the same time. I sort of, know what's going on, and I'll be right.
Nev, all the very best today. Some 500 games between you. You know what it's all about, and should be a ripper.
Thanks very much.
Good on you, Steve. Thanks. Kev.
So it's not going to be long before both sides are out on the ground. We've got some entertainment coming your way, and we've got in excess of 100,000 people in our ears at the moment, roaring their lungs out. It's going to be a great afternoon as we go back to our central commentary position. Here's Peter Lamb.
Thank you, Sandy. You can hardly hear you above the noise. As you mentioned, 110,000 people here make a fair bit of that. I think we can be very pleased, gentlemen, about the condition of the ground, and driving around it at the moment is Robert De Castella, who, of course, has had great success in marathons worldwide. Of course, winning the Commonwealth Games, winning at Rotterdam, and also winning the World Championships marathon recently in Helsinki.
Certainly a hero of this crowd here today, Peter, isn't he?
And given a tremendous reception.
Robert De Castella proved beyond doubt in August that he is the best marathon runner in the world when he won the inaugural World Championship in Helsinki. The man who'd previously won Fukuoka, the Commonwealth Games gold medal, and the Rotterdam marathons, blitzed the world's best to give Australia its only gold medal in Helsinki. As he has done over the last 2 years, De Castella ran his race to perfection, waiting until the crucial stage to make his surge and then burning off the opposition. The lad, who was an athletic star at Melbourne Xavier College and now works as a biophysicist at the Australian Institute of Sport in Canberra, has now set his sights on Olympic gold at Los Angeles in 1984.
And that completes Robert De Castella's lap of the MCG here. You can just see the back of him there. And Robert now going past the MCG member stand, being given a tremendous reception. That's the scoreboard in goal. The goal square still looks